So we got some news coming out of the Las Vegas Raiders that nobody's talking about, and I don't know how everybody missed this, but if you watched last night's after game press conference with Coach Pete Carroll, he alluded to something that the Raiders fans have been asking about and wondering about for months now during all of the offseason and the training camps, and that is what's going on with Jackson Powers Johnson. Is this dude the starting center or not? Remember back when Ashton Jeanty first came to the Raiders facility and he ran into Jackson Powers Johnson in the hallway and he introduced himself as, "Hey, I'm JPJ, I'm your starting center." Well, apparently that's not the case anymore. In fact, according to Pete Carroll in his own press conference yesterday, Jordan Meredith is now the starting center. He has won that job, and JPJ may not even be on the starting front five of this offensive line. All that and more on today's episode of the Raider D Podcast. All right, guys, Raiders and Raiderettes, before we jump and dive into this, I do just want to ask you for a huge favor. If you are subscribed to the channel, great. But if you're not and you like this kind of content, do me a favor and smash that like button and the subscribe button. It's absolutely free and it helps us to get more Raider Nation content out to the general public. With that being said, let's get into and dissect what Coach Pete Carroll had to say last night.
I think Jordan Meredith has done a really good job, and I think that's way back, if you remember, that was the competition that we were really focused on to see how that would go, and I think he's really taken that thing over and done a fine job with it. JPJ is battling at the guard spot, and we know we got a real physical guy that's fired up and helps us out as well. So the moves, I think, were well chosen, and I think we're going to benefit from them.
So as you can see, he is very clearly saying that Jordan Meredith has done a fantastic job at that position being center, and that he has won that job. And now it's a competition at the right guard for JPJ. Now, listen, the way that he speaks about JPJ is, we got a guy who's very physical and wants to help the team out. He doesn't really praise JPJ. Now, this could be some type of an issue of a character issue. It could be a concussion issue that he was going through last year. It could be a multitude of things that we just don't know the answer to. But if it's JPJ's just not good enough to be on the starting line, I have a hard time buying that, because Jackson Powers Johnson last year was already ranked as a top 5 center in the NFL. The fact that they have not even basically let him be the center, the fact that he's not the starting center and it is going to Jordan Meredith, is absolutely mind-boggling. Now, at the same time, as a right guard, Jackson Powers Johnson is not nearly as good as he is at center. Center is what he played the majority of his snaps at in Oregon in college, and that's what he was most comfortable with. So now the fact that he's got to move over to right guard, and if you look at his PFF rankings from last year at right guard, he was bottom 25 or 30. But at center, he was a top 5. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, and all that we can do as Raiders fans is speculate what's going on with Jackson Powers Johnson and why he may not even be a starter on this team. And if that's the case, when you have a guy who was listed last year as a top 5 center in the snaps that he played as center, and you're not going to make him a starter, what are you doing, Pete Carroll? Listen, I'm all on the Pete Carroll bandwagon. I am supporting Coach Carroll 100%. I think he can turn this team around. I think bringing Geno Smith to this team was a no-brainer. Just like if you need a box house, just like if you need an ADU, you need a tiny house, you got to give my boy Kevin Ross a call over at Box House, the sponsor of this channel. Kevin Ross over at Box House has 2 companies. One is Container Bros, which he brings the box house to you in, and he can also sell you the 40-foot brand new container as well. Box House is by far the best place to go shopping for your tiny home in the United States. They deliver it straight to your doorstep. They have the best prices in the country. Go ahead and give them a phone call. Number is on the screen and link to the website is down in the description. Okay, yes, I did just slide in a sponsorship there. Sue me. I got bills to pay just like everybody else. But more importantly, what we need to discuss is whether or not JPJ should stay on this team. If he is regulated as a backup kind of offensive lineman, when we used a second-round draft pick on him, when he was the steal of the draft last year for the center position, and you're not going to make him a starter, trade him now. Because there are teams out there who would make him the center day one. No questions asked, he goes straight to being the starting center. And they would easily give up a first-round draft pick for this dude because he was able to prove it last year. So I don't understand, is it an issue between Coach Carroll and JPJ? Because from the sources that I have, the people that I talk to, including active players on the squad, they love JPJ. He is a limelight in that locker room. He's always supporting his teammates. He is a very happy guy, but when he's out there on the field, he is a monster. He is like a little demon on wheels, just going around smashing people and pancaking defensive linemen. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, and if it doesn't make sense to us, it doesn't make sense to a lot of other people. So the only thing that would make sense is to go ahead and trade him, get a first-round draft pick for him, or at the very least, try to get a second-round draft pick for him. And so that way we can do something with it later on. Because Jordan Meredith at center, in my opinion, is not better than Jackson Powers Johnson. I don't know what coach is making this decision on, and I wish he would come out and elaborate. If you agree with that, go ahead and hit the like button, the subscribe button, and all the other buttons on this channel. And I'll see you in the next Raiders video.